You found it. Your home for the best content on your favorite team, the Fighting Tigers of LSU. Do us a favor. Subscribe to the channel. Leave your comments below. Be sure to smash that like button. Speaking of the LSU-New Mexico game, we did get some news on Thursday night when Brian Kelly met with the media. Kayshon Boutte, by now you probably know, will not play for LSU on Saturday. He and his girlfriend welcomed in their new son yesterday evening. So congrats to Kayshon Boutte. He has been excused from the team presently and for the game on Saturday. And wish him all the luck. Hope Kayshon got plenty of rest up until this point in his life, because my goodness, those days are probably just about over now that he's a dad. But congrats to Kayshon. In the meantime, that does leave open tremendous opportunity for some of the other wide receivers. And when Brian Kelly met with the media on Thursday night, he did talk about how they're going to handle the wide receiver room without Kayshon Boutte.
You'll see, Jack Besh obviously in the slot receiver position, and I think Malik can bounce in there as well. You'll see Karen Lacey at the W or in the boundary quite a bit, and Brian Thomas can float into that position as well. Chris Hilton will play quite a bit out at the X as well. So we think we've got a nice rotation that will keep us in a really good situation as well.
So I am genuinely interested in this ball game to see how the receiver reps are divvied up and who steps up. Kayshon, and the reason primarily is because even though Kayshon Boutte's numbers haven't really popped this year, it's largely because he draws so much attention. There's a lot of things we've talked about, right? Protection hasn't been great. Jaden Daniels at times has chosen to run over throwing the football. And then on top of that, whenever you have all of the attention Kayshon draws from a defense, it's just going to be more difficult to get him the football. They've tried, as we mentioned. Look, the Florida State game, the second play of the game, they threw it to him in the end zone. It was a tough catch, but a catchable ball. He didn't come down with it. There was the skinny post at the goal line in the second quarter that hit him when he didn't have his head turned around. Not placing blame. We just, there's been different explanations. But, again, there have been opportunities. He had a drop in the fourth quarter against Florida State. They pushed him the ball against Southern. And, look, the second play of the game against Mississippi State, he had an 18-yard reception. So Kayshon's got 10 catches for 93 yards, a long of 21 on the season. So he's had some success. He's got the second most catches on the team behind only Malik Neighbors at 14. But with Kayshon not there, where does the defense focus its attention? That's going to be really interesting to see. And my guess is probably Malik Neighbors, because he's the guy with the big game-breaking ability who has flashed on the screen. It's hard to watch an LSU game and not see number 8, especially the way he made plays late in the ball game against Mississippi State. He's your leading receiver as far as receptions, yards, and yards per catch. So if Kayshon Boutte's not on the field and you're a defense thinking, okay, where are we going to focus all of our attention? Naturally, it would be Malik Neighbors. Well, if that's the case, well, then who steps up with the opportunities? Certainly, Jere Jenkins has 3 touchdowns on the season. He's a veteran and awesome. Brian Thomas is a really good one to mention. And listen, Brian Kelly this week has been so adamant that they're going to push the ball to Jack Besh this week. Besh only has 2 catches on the season. He does have the touchdown reception against Southern. And he also mentioned by name there Kyron Lacey, the transfer who looks really good. But guys like Lacey and Chris Hilton have just kind of been caught in a logjam at that position. Again, you're not better without your best player. You're not better without Kayshon on the field, of course. But it's going to give other guys opportunities this week. And New Mexico is a really interesting team because, listen, they've struggled offensively. New Mexico isn't a great offensive team, but their defensive coordinator, Rocky Long, who's 72 years old, previously was the head coach at New Mexico, then went to San Diego State. He's back at New Mexico now as the defensive coordinator, and their defense has played well. They gave up 31 to Boise State, but by and large, this is a pretty good defense when you look at it. 188 yards through the air per game and just 74 on the ground. They're allowing only 286 yards per game. So that's a good New Mexico defense, and it's going to be a challenge for this LSU offense to attack it. The flip side of it is New Mexico's offense just isn't very good. So it's going to be hard for them to score on LSU. provided LSU doesn't provide them opportunities with turnovers, et cetera. So that's the reason the line is 31.5 right now. But it really, I'm very interested, if you're looking for storylines within the game to see, that's as good as any. As we've wanted to see LSU's passing game kind of evolve and develop a little bit, how does it do so without Kayshon Boutte on the field? That will be really interesting to watch this week. All right, so after further review, we're glad to have you aboard with us here. Oh, by the way, if you haven't seen it yet, here's the picture. It's Kayshon did post on his Instagram several photos of from the delivery room. Here's one with of Kayshon holding his baby boy. Brian Kelly joked, or maybe he was serious, that they've already offered a scholarship to Kayshon's son. I believe he'd be like class of 2041, maybe. What would be 18 years from now? So we're in 22, so it'd be 32, 40. So 40? Yeah, the class of 40. So class of 40 or 40, I guess, but he's also, he's an August or September birthday, so he could either be like the youngest guy in the next class or the oldest guy in one class. So yeah, they'll figure that out when he gets to the age. But congrats to Kayshon Boutte, a new father. And, someone did ask, could that be part of the reason why we've seen Kayshon have a little bit of a slow start to the season? I maybe, and I wouldn't discredit that. I think there's a lot of things that could factor in. I think what we already mentioned, it is a new offense, a new quarterback who maybe hasn't been as willing to throw at times as we've seen. That's part of it. I think defenses focusing so much coverage on Kayshon Boutte is certainly part of it. I think the fact that he hasn't played since the middle of October. Remember, Kayshon didn't have spring. He only really got full speed during the summer and then into fall camp. So, this is the first time he's played in a game since he broke his leg against Kentucky. So some rust, I think, could be part of it as well. And what's to say that expecting your first child didn't maybe distract you a little bit? Perhaps, now that his son is born and healthy and has arrived, maybe that clears his mind a little bit. So Kayshon will be back, no doubt, when LSU goes to Auburn next week. And maybe it'll be a good reset for him, as LSU will need to play well against New Mexico on the road and beat Auburn in their first SEC road game of the Brian Kelly era. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact. And be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.